Hello, YouTube, and you are listening to another episode of Behind the Wall presented by Perky Jerky. I'm King Junior 88, and as always, I'm joined by these two knucklehead sandwiches over here, Thermite 917 and Probo 43. And this week we are going Roadcourse racing as the Monster Energy Cup Series was in Sonoma for the Toyota Save Mart 350, as well as the Camping World Truck Series race down at Gateway near St. Louis. And here with the recap for Cup is Thermite.
Thank you, Kane. Yeah, Kyle Larson got the pole for the second year in a row here. AJ Allmendinger ended up winning Stage 1, but unfortunately blew up early in Stage 2 after going from second to first gear, coming out of turn 11 instead of second to third. So he was out of the race, and that was the only non-stage caution in the race. Denny Hamlin, unfortunately, won Stage 2. Stage 3 got underway, and leaders Kevin Harvick and Clint Bowyer pitted with 40 to go, but Truex's team tricked them, and they pit with 30 to go, which split the stage in half. With fresher tires, he ran Harvick down in a hurry and took the lead back, and later, Harvick, Bowyer, and some others who pitted with 40 to go came in again with 20 to go, so they split the stage into thirds, and they had to hope to catch a caution, and that never happened. So Martin Truex Jr. beats Kevin Harvick by 14 seconds. Clint Bowyer was third, then Chase Elliott, Kyle Busch, Kurt Busch, Eric Jones somehow, then Eric Almirola, Alex Bowman, and Denny Hamlin rounds out the top 10. So, I mean, it was really not that eventful of a race, but let's give some ratings anyway, Tyler.
Yeah, that was like the shortest recap I think we've ever done, and that pretty much sums it up, really. My rating, 4 out of 10. It was a lackluster Sonoma race. I enjoy Sonoma. I'm not like one of those prissy little bastards I saw on social media, a little bit throughout the week. Like, when's the next race? Fucking Sonoma's boring. And, we're all going like, are you kidding me? Sonoma's been one of the best races of the year. It's something I always look forward to, and then this weekend was boring. So it's kind of a slap to the face. I mean, there was strategy, yeah, right there at the end, and it had potential. It just didn't work out. So, just disappointing. Kane, what's your race rating?
I'm going to give it a 5. I mean, obviously this wasn't the 2016 race, which in my opinion was one of the best races ever run at Sonoma. It was far from it, but obviously the strategy with Truex and Cole Pern, using that whole trick play on Harvick, I thought that was probably the most interesting part of this whole race. Otherwise, like you said, it was a pretty lackluster, so it's a 5 for me. Thermite?
I'm going to give it a 4 just like Tyler. I just expected more from a road course race like this. It just came down to strategy, and I mean, it was straightforward strategy, great little call by Cole Pern, but really, when Truex caught Harvick again, there was no battle. He just flew right by him on the fresh tires. It was like Atlanta on steroids, but without the great racing. So, I don't know if that's part of the stages. It just kind of made everything simpler, and drivers took it easy the first couple stages, so that's why they never really got into each other. I know, Bubba Wallace had an issue, Eric Jones had some damage, and then Suarez ends up spinning on the final lap, but really that's all for incidents? Come on! We come to expect road courses to be exciting, and if they're not exciting, then it's going to prove all the people right that think there shouldn't be any road courses on the schedule, so we can't have that. So hopefully Watkins wins better.
Yeah, absolutely. To just continue on that point, there just wasn't a whole lot of attrition, not a ton of bump and banging, just the elements that we've come to expect weren't there. Also, I fell asleep with 15 to go. And woke up as they were interviewing Clint Bowyer. I'm like, oh, he finished third? Okay, yeah, that played out exactly how I thought it was going to go. And that rarely ever happens for me. So, sorry. I did end up watching the last 15 laps in a rerun, but again, nothing happened. So, it's whatever. Good for Truex. Let's move on.
All right, and we have one topic for the week, and one of our own, yet again, went to a race, but it was a different track, one that we haven't really mentioned much. Tyler had a Bowman Gray Bash. He went to Bowman Gray Stadium on Saturday, and he's going to tell us about it. So, Tyler, take it away.
Yes, this is my very first ever trip to Bowman Gray Stadium. To put in some perspective, I have been in the state of North Carolina since 2006, and now it accounts for over half of my life. Never once until finally this weekend. So I knew it was just kind of like one of those things I needed to do, and there was enough events going on in this race. Only $10 to get in, Went with a couple of friends. It was just a good overall experience, but getting into all of it, there was street stocks, there was just regular late models, modifieds. The big event of the night was a 100 lapper. There was more street stocks, and then they ended the night with 2 back-to-back 4-cylinder races. It was insane because right from the get-go, that first street stock race, oh, this is too damn funny. I mean, I really did get the full Bowman Gray experience, and this really set the tone. So you got 2 idiots just battling in the back half of the pack, just whatever, beating the piss out of each other. One guy spins the other out, and there's a yellow. And then what do you think happens? The restart comes, they come around through 1 and 2, into 3 and 4. This guy never stops, drills them right into the door, lands on top of them, and they're both wrecked in the middle of 3 and 4. I was like, oh my god, already? Like this, the night just started and we're already having pissing contest. I love it. The next thing that pissed me off in that little race there was this lap car. Clearly not put together very well. The right side of his car, the panels were kind of like pushing up or whatever. You could clearly see through them or whatever. Obviously the bolts have shattered probably from contact. So he's going a lap down like super quick. And what does this motherfucker do? Parks the bus right on the bottom. I mean, this track is very one groove. It's a little small bowl, and you got to use contact and whatnot. Makes the leaders go around him on the outside. Luckily, it didn't cost the leader the win of that little race, but like the 3rd or 4th place guy ended up costing him a spot on the last lap. So this guy is so mad. He's running into this lap car after the checkered and does virtually the same thing of the previous incident that I messaged right on the backstretch, but it was at a little slower speed. So he wasn't able to get like on top of him, but he still drove his front bumper into this guy's door, and they ended up having to tow both cars away to make room for the next race. So that was hilarious. Now we get into the modified race, and like I said earlier, this was one of the main big event because it was $10,500 to win, and there was also this 9-grand bonus on the line. They had this little thing called the Fans Challenge, and what that is, the top 4 qualifiers got the option to start from the rear. If they fought back up to the top 4, and the highest finishing of them would get an extra 9-grand bonus. So all 4 of them actually chose to do it, and I don't think any of them actually ended up winning the 9-grand bonus, but there was some contact, and there was a pissing match after that race. And like right from the get-go, at the start of this race, there was a crash. You'll see that right here. And get this guy, they said over the loudspeaker, drove 11 hours from Florida, only to crash on the damn front stretch taking the green. I mean, how much of a dick would you feel if that was you? Oh my god, I felt so bad for him, but it was hilarious. But man, these races were just really weird. Like, you know, there was contact, there was good racing. The guy that ended up winning had some really great ballsy passes, good restarts. I watched him do a couple passes on the outside. There was also a lot of bullshit yellows. This place, I looked at my buddy who had been there several times before, and I'm like, man, this is ridiculous. Like, they're throwing debris yellows. Sometimes they don't even explain it. I'm like, what the hell? Is this a NASCAR race from 5 years ago? Because just a bunch of dunces. It was actually frustrating almost watching it sometimes. Like, is this competition yellows? Like every 25 laps to tighten the action? But either way, it was still, that was a real good race to watch there. The guy that ended up winning, his name is Burt Myers. He apparently is the most hated guy at Bowman Gray. One of the most successful, but also most hated. You had people, they were booing the shit out of this guy.
Burt Myers picks up the win.
And I'm just sitting here laughing. I'm like, I just enjoyed what I watched, and about 3/4 of the people are going, bullshit! Bullshit! Fuck you, Bert! Like, settle down, fuckers. This is just a regular old modified race. Come back next week. Maybe you'll be pissed off again there, too. But, holy shit. The redneck was out to play. That was hilarious.
Maybe they were just saying, Bert! Bert!
Bert!
Like they were just saying Bert, but it sounded like Bert.
I could oddly see
Maybe
that,
not.
but the boos were very distinctive. It was just B-O-O and then continuous O's. They didn't want him to win. Well, the rest of the night, probably the dumbest class of all of them was the 4 cylinders. That first race, it was a little 15-lap shootout. I swear to God, it had 6 cautions. I mean, these guys just kept spinning out. You had people going through the grass, just losing their shit. There was one time, I forget actually which class it was in, but they're coming to get the last restart or whatever, and this guy in second being ultra aggressive and just spins himself right out. But they ended up letting him get his spot back, and I was just like, what the hell is this shit? Like, oh, the green technically wasn't out. I don't give a shit. You spin out like a dunce, go to the rear. Don't be a retard next time. I'm glad he ended up not winning, but there was just so many little highlights from this thing. It was just a good overall experience. If I were to never go back, I could easily say that I got the full Bowman Gray experience. You know, there was good racing, there was ridiculousness, hilariousness, dumps, fights. I mean, everything compiled into one night. So it really was a Bowman Gray bash. But I will be going back again. So looking forward to even more hilariousness and redneck adventuring. Yeah, that's it.
That's awesome.
Any questions?
That's freaking awesome. And,
Oh.
I think after hearing that, I really feel like Thermite and I need to take in a race at like Route 66, the dirt oval at Route 66 Raceway.
Yeah, for
You know,
sure.
or Sycamore, Rockford, a bunch of other local dirt tracks around this area.
Well,
Yes.
you should do that.
Mm-hmm.
Local
Yeah.
stuff's really fun, and you know, this is about 45 minutes away from where I live. One thing that absolutely chafes my ass, they have the Martinsville-style hot dogs here at this place. Martinsville hot dogs are $2 a piece. Want to know what they were at this place? $4. Suck my dick. It costs $10 to get in. Like, are you kidding
Oh my
me?
God.
I was so
Wow.
mad. I'm like, I'll fucking starve before I pay $4 for a hot dog.
They're imported.
Whatever. But
That's like the cost of a hot dog at like Wrigley Field, you know?
exactly. I was very
Yeah.
annoyed. But whatever. That's fine. They won't get my business. They got my $10. But I probably would have paid like 20 to get into that. It was fun. So
Yeah.
that's the way I look at it. And yeah, nothing more to add about that. Thanks for letting me share my story, guys.
You will.
Yeah. You're welcome, man. Glad you had fun.
Thank you, Kane. Let's move on. Well, the trucks raced in Gateway this weekend, and you know damn well what that means. Where did Cody Coughlin finish? Big old meatball started 12th, finished 9th. So we got ourselves a nice little cute Jegs picnic again. My God, the top 10s keep rolling in for Cody Coughlin, and we're going to have another small round of sandwiches. It was a little bit of a weird night for Cody, just kind of a typical mediocre fashion, and I didn't even know about it during the race. I actually had to miss it and then rewatch it, but I still didn't know because TV doesn't cover Cody Coughlin. They had a cylinder down during the night. So I guess they ran on 7 cylinders for like all of it. But with a little bit of attrition, he was still able to come home 9th. So let's see what he had to say. Wow, what a night. Running on 7 cylinders for almost the whole race was hard. To leave with another top 10 finish, considering the circumstances, was awesome. I'm very proud of Jerry and the whole Jags.com team. We'll be back after it in Chicago. Well, thanks for not going off the rails there and saying you were going to get a win anywhere. But, good job, Cody. I mean, yeah. Jags!
Jags! Picnic.
Jags! Picnic.
Picnic!
That was so fucking random. Picnic! Ugh.
It was.
I think we'll just have some peanut butter and jelly sandwiches this time. You know, I don't think we need to go all out. You know, have a nice cost-cutting picnic. Cody doesn't deserve that much. God damn it. Well, it's that time of the episode now, and we're going to hand out some awards for the Sonoma and Gateway Race Weekend. So leading off with that classic boner of the week, Kane, who's got the raging?
Oh, that would be A.J. Allmendinger, who missed a shift in the middle of stage number 2, and dadgum blew up. Yeah, he had high hopes going into this weekend. It's pretty much one of 2 chances that A.J. has of getting into the playoffs. And he frickin' blew it. And it looked promising. He won the first stage, but then, the old Dale Jr. at Pocono missing a shift curse came back and bit him in the ass, and he ended up finishing dead-ass last. So, God, I don't know what it is about AJ and Sonoma. He obviously has a win at Watkins Glen, but every time he comes to Sonoma, either he blows up or something breaks on the car. He just cannot catch a break there. I almost feel sorry for the guy. In fact, he looked like he needed a hug during this post-race interview. So, sorry to hear about your little incident, AJ. Don't know what to tell you. And then a dishonorable mention goes to Johnny Sauter, who during the truck race at Gateway, he wrecked Stuart Friesen. But Sauter did apologize for it after the race, so that's why it's only going to be a dishonorable mention instead of a full-blown boner. So with that being said, let's move on to our next award.
The next award is Day from Hell! That goes to Ryan Blaney, who really did have quite the event at Sonoma. He ended up losing his power steering at some point during the race and just limped home. 34th place finish, 6 laps down. Jesus Christ. I bet his arms were dead after that. He said he wasn't cramping up or nothing like that, but whatever. Be Mr. Tough Guy there, Ryan. I imagine it hurts just at a regular oval. Being on a road course, I can't even imagine trying to limp that sucker home, but he did. So, in a way, it's a props, but man, you had a real day from hell. So, better luck next time. Next award.
All right, it is time, as always, for some cigars, and we'll start out with the Truck Series. Justin Haley got his first career Truck Series win. Just kind of was there inside the top 10, top 5, and then when all the craziness happened near the end, he ended up near the front, held off Johnny Sauter, and brought that GMS truck home for his first ever win. He's been close many times, been strong, especially last year, some this year, but as Tyler says, good job for the boy girl. And then we go to Zane Smith. He finished 5th in his first ever truck start. That was for Gilliland Crosley Racing Motorsports Enterprises Racing. He was he was just there in the top 10, caused no problems. Good for him. And our final truck cigar goes to Chad Finley, finished 6th. It was his team's debut. That was Chad Finley Racing, Motorsports Enterprises Racing. I don't know how he did that, where he even really came from. I think ARCA mainly, but just one of those guys was under the radar, got the job done. So can't say much else about them. Let's head to the Cup Cigars. Take it away.
All right, our first Cup cigar goes to Cole Pern, who had probably the strategy call of the year when he faked out Kevin Harvick and his crew into coming to pit road while Martin Truex Jr. stayed out, continued to lead a bunch of laps, came in much later, had much fresher tires than Harvick did later in the race, and that's what got them, Martin Truex Jr. and his team, the 3rd win of the season. So you get a cigar. And then we got Chase Elliott, who had a really solid day all around. He started 3rd, pretty much ran inside the top 5, top 10 all afternoon, and he came home in 4th. He was actually on the exact same strategy as Martin Truex, but unfortunately just couldn't keep up with him in the end. Got passed by Harvick and Boyer, who pitted way later and had fresher tires and just couldn't catch Truex. And for the rest of the Cup cigars, we'll give it away to Middleburg, or Proble, or Tyler, or whatever the hell your name is. Take it away!
The game. Eric Jones gets a cigar. Man, he was fast-tracking his way to a day from hell at the beginning of that sucker. Got damaged real early on, had a little dust-up of Michael McDowell. We'll qualify better next time there, Eric. I even saw him go real wide in turn 11. Just looked like he was having a hellish time out there. But then, somehow made his way up into the top 10 and kept himself there. Finished 7th. Nice run, man. And the last Cup cigar goes to Alex Bowman, who finished 9th, which is his 5th top 10 of the year. The 8018's been decent on road courses the past several years, specifically Sonoma. This hasn't really come as much of a surprise, but, obviously this is Alex's first trip to Sonoma, so, coming home with the top 10, that's pretty good. Nice job, Alex. Yeah, that's it for the awards. We got nothing else. It's a shame nobody cried this week. Could have used somebody bitching. It's a shame, Denny Hamlin didn't crash or something, and then, in his 10,042nd race.
It's a damn shame, man.
Really it is. Really is. But, well, we'll move on. Well, now it's time to take a look at the best paint schemes of the week, but we only have one of them, so there's no reason for music and montage. Let's just throw it up right here. Trevor Bain returned. Hi, welcome back. The Advocare car had a brand new sponsor. They were promoting the Rehydrate, whatever the hell that is, another one of their products, I'm assuming. And that's a solid looking car. Kind of has Halloween colors to it, but obviously it doesn't look fruitcakey, so that's why it gets on the best list. The only issue I have with this car is there's a real stupid whatever line going through the contingencies, the Goodyear, and then straight down to the other contingencies on the left and right front fenders. That doesn't need to be there. If you get rid of that, it's a really solid car, but it's still solid overall. Now, going on to something that is not only great, but awful at the same time. Nick, you discovered it. Please tell us about this.
Yeah, I found this on Twitter, but this is the first ever best and worst paint scheme of the week. It's so bad, it ends up being good. It is Jim Englebright's K&N car from Sonoma. Oh my god. Well, first of all, the sponsors. Oh, Shirt Yeah.
Shirt Yeah!
Sure, yeah, bitch.
It seems like they sell some pretty exciting shirts. You got the little comic book explosions, the exciting looking font, and above the quarter panel, like in this random little Text 6 generic font, it says "Make Shirt Happen," and it's also in the new style they've been trying, where they put the number on the quarter panel. That number doesn't look that good either, but I mean, it's just a hilarious car. It doesn't even really have a paint scheme. It's just bright yellow. It's just like, I want to hate it but love it at the same time. I'm all confused, man.
Well, that sums it up. So now we get into the worst paint schemes of the week. Kane, we have two of them, so why don't you lead off the first one?
All right, the first one is it's a name we haven't heard from in 3 years. It's Tommy Dreese's Go Share Chevrolet for Starcom Racing. What the hell is this? I mean, there's a giant Chevy bow tie logo with a really generic-looking 00 in a circle in the middle of that. Now, thank you to Mike Joy for bringing this up during the broadcast. It's based on one of Dreese's old Trans Am racers that he happens to own from, like, 1970. So thank you, Mike Joy, because otherwise I wouldn't have any freaking clue why the hell the car looks like that. It looks horrible. It needs to just stay on a Trans Am car and not go on to a Cup car. And this is really surprising, seeing as it's Tommy Dreese. I mean, this is the guy who has, like, movies on his cars, and those paint schemes actually look really cool. Tommy Dreese actually did say on last car that he was going to run a movie car this week, but, GoShare stepped up at the very last minute. So, God damn it, GoShare.
Those dang sponsors wanting to spend their money in NASCAR.
How dare a sponsor come up and give money to an underfunded team? How dare they do that? But still, I mean, if they're going to come on board, at least come up with something different. Very big letdown. Starcom's had some real solid paint schemes this year, and this one is not one of them. So now we will move on to the final worst paint scheme of the week. Oh, I've been waiting. From the moment I saw this on the preview render, I knew the rage is going to come out. Chris Buescher's Maxwell House Max Chevy.
Max!
Are you kidding me? We remember the shit box that he ran last year at Dover. I'm so glad he pancaked that car off the wall. Why the hell couldn't you do the same? You had to have a solid outing, finish 12th. I mean, nice job. But look at this fucking paint scheme. Now they added a little bit, slight more flair, some red along the sides there. Maybe it looks like it's got pop, but then, Oh, hello there. I almost didn't fucking see you with the glaring max thermometer. Thermaxmometer bullshit. And then right on the top, there's like 2 little bags of Maxwell House Mac coffee. It looks like the thermometer is like raising them up, like lifting them up. It's like, is this car like belong in church? Is it supposed to raise your spirits? Is that what they're trying to do here? Oh my
But the
god.
temperature's also getting hot, so it's like hell at the same time, so.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I mean, that's not a good promotion either. Either way, I don't like this. No? Like, why? And that brings me back to another terrible JTG car, and that was from Charlotte, where they did something very similar. They had to slap that goddamn Gary grill on the side of the car for no reason, and they do the same thing here. So it's not necessarily the sponsor, per se. This is clearly just JTG having full reins, and they're just doing stupid shit. Why are you there? I can't believe it. Oh. Looks a little better on the right side, but still, that is totally not where something like that should be. The logo sucks to begin with. That's just obvious, but it's just overplaced. They just needed to have it somewhere because they couldn't post it on the sides because they're too busy with their normal shit. Get your Dawn Kleenex Bush's Baked Beans American Beauty. I mean, it's a wonder there's a big glaring open spot where they could have put it on the wheel, above the wheel well right there. But I guess, you know, that was just too inconvenient. They didn't want to, you know, overclutter things. I'll tell you what I will clutter is your ficus with my damn piss after I destroy it. Don't do this, JTG. I've had enough of your shit. I have been too busy critiquing the crap out of your terrible sponsor placements. It's old. We know. You're sponsored by Max. It says so on the damn hood. Why do you need to throw it on the sides? Damn it! I mean...
Piss-flavored coffee.
Exactly. That doesn't want to make me buy Maxwell House. Are you kidding me? I'll get Folgers, goddammit. This car makes me angry. I'm done with it. Bye. Get the fuck off of my screen.
Get out of here.
Bye!
Alright, now it's time to recap the fantasy results and picks from Sonoma. And Kane, once again, as he's been doing for like the last 2 months, slapping us in the face, he picked Martin Truex Jr., who won the race. He wins the fantasy by getting 40 points. Nick comes home in second, picking Kevin Harvick, who finished second. He got 35 points. I picked Kyle Busch, who finished fifth and got 32 points. And Damani picked Kyle Larson, who finished 14th and only got 29 points. So now we head into Chicagoland, and Damani, you are first up. We rarely mention you. Just give us your pick. Come on now, go. Give it. Fucking Truex. Well, I'm up next, and I'm gonna take Kevin Harvick.
You fucking whore.
I have no explanation. Nick, you're up next.
Okay. I'm gonna go with Kyle Larson.
Scrotum!
He's got to get that 1.5 mile win, and if it's going to be a hot and slick track, which it looks like it's going to be if it don't rain, he's going to be up on top, slinging it. He's going to get the win. Kyle Larson is going to win at Chicagoland. Kane?
Well, surprised we haven't mentioned his name once this entire podcast, but I'm going with that old salty Snickers son of a bitch, Kyle Busch.
Fuck you, Santa!
He's a former winner there. He's been close on the mile and a half this year when Harvick or Truex aren't leading, so he's my pick.
All right. That wraps it up. Nice job, guys.
Thank you.
Well, this has been another episode of Behind the Wall, presented by Perky Jerky. We appreciate you listening. Now, typically I'd go ahead and start making a joke about everybody involved here, because that's just what I do, and that's what we all do. Because we care for each other, even though it doesn't seem like it sometimes. But this week, we got a reminder that even though we're just primarily NASCAR fans, we're always racing fans. We want to watch anything because it's good entertainment. What we sometimes forget is that it can be a very dangerous sport, no matter what it is. That's what happened this weekend in the World of Outlaws, where we lost a driver. It was such a gut-wrenching moment. You know, we're all doing our thing, and in a different part of the world, a family loses their patriarch. Jason Johnson lost his life after a terrible crash, fighting for the lead at Beaver Dam Raceway. Shit. It's tough to talk about, because even though we don't follow the World of Outlaws tour on a primary basis, one thing I'll always remember is his amazing drive in the 2016 Knoxville Nationals. I've known his name before that. I know it after, but that particular night, he just did such an amazing job, and it'll always stick with me. And to have somebody like that just seemed like one of those innocent guys, hard racer, it's just unfortunate. And a family lost a son, a husband, and a father. He'll be forever missed. Jason Johnson was 41.
Yeah, I'll give it a 4, just like Tyler. I just expected more from a road course race like this. Dad, quiet! He opened the door.
I didn't hear it.
Well, okay. I did. It distracted me. It lost my train of thought. So, Truex held off Johnny Sauter and brought that GMS home.
It's not. They're not actually sponsored by Max. They're sponsored by Kroger, but they're promoting Max on the car. That's really how it is at JTG. Unfortunately.
Kane, why do you have to piss all over everything?
I'm just stating the truth.
I know you're stating the truth, but god damn it! Look, it's terrible. Either way, it sucks. I'll keep supporting, the late great Ken
Hendrick
Richmond.
Motorsports.
Damn it, Kane! You have to piss it all.
I think Kane needs a ficus for himself.
I think Kane does need a ficus. His own little personal ficus in the room when he has to get up and take a leak instead of taking the little 2-foot trip to the bathroom. He just goes. I don't even know. God damn it, Kane! You just totally fucked up my flow right there. Well, I'm up next, and I'm gonna take Kevin Harvick.
But you're not. Wait, yes you are. Dang it, I put the wrong order in the pictures. I have to resend those.
You're a dumbass.